Chapter 10. A Promise in Springtime. The snow along Willow Ridge had finally melted, leaving the fields rich and damp, the creeks running high with spring water. The scent of wet earth filled the air, mingling with the soft sweetness of budding flowers. For Miriam, the land seemed to breathe with new life, reflecting her own heart as she prepared for the most important day of her life. Across the lane, Aaron Miller worked on the porch of the small home he had built. Even from a distance, Miriam could see the care in every movement, each plank sanded, each nail set with steady hands. Her chest filled with warmth. This was the life she had prayed for, simple, steadfast, and full of purpose. Her parents, Jacob and Ruth Lapp, moved quietly through the kitchen. Ruth set a basket of fresh bread on the table while Jacob brushed straw from his coat. "You're thinking of him again, aren't you?" Ruth asked softly, a small smile on her face. Miriam nodded. "I can't help it. Everything feels so real now." Jacob chuckled, his deep voice carrying through the room. "It should. Today, you're not just dreaming about the future. You're stepping into it. Walk with your head high, daughter. Aaron is a good man, and you've got a good head and heart to match him." Ruth squeezed Miriam's hand. "Your mother and I are so proud. You've grown into a woman of faith and kindness. That will be your greatest strength in marriage." The morning was bright, the air crisp, carrying the faint scent of new grass and thawing soil. Hannah Yoder, who had moved to Willow Ridge just months before with her husband Samuel and their son Eli, arrived early. She had become like an aunt to Miriam in the short time they had known each other, offering guidance, encouragement, and a listening ear. Samuel, a quiet and steady man, had become like an uncle, always ready to help with work, advice, or prayer. Eli, younger and full of energy, ran about helping where he could, his cheerful presence adding life to every room. Hannah laid out the cream-colored fabric she had brought to trim Miriam's dress. "You'll be radiant today, child," she said, brushing a stray strand of hair from Miriam's face. "And remember, it's not the ribbons or lace that make a bride beautiful, it's the goodness of her heart." Miriam laughed softly. "I hope my heart is ready." "It is," Hannah replied firmly. "And so is Aaron. You've built this life together with patience and prayer. Nothing else matters." The barn at the Yoders' property had been swept and decorated for the occasion. Pine garlands hung along the beams, and sunlight poured through the wide doors, scattering dust motes that danced like tiny stars. Friends and neighbors from across the ridge filled the benches, chatting softly as the final preparations were made. Aaron Miller adjusted his coat, standing beside the bishop and Samuel, who had quietly offered to help with the ceremony. Though Samuel had only known Miriam for months, he had grown protective in the way uncles often do, his presence steady and reassuring. Eli peeked from behind a post, giving Aaron a thumbs up, a playful grin lighting his face. Inside the farmhouse, Ruth helped Miriam fasten the final buttons of her dress, while Jacob offered quiet encouragement. "Hold your head high, Miriam. Walk with purpose, walk with love, walk toward the man God has chosen for you." Miriam smiled, feeling the calm assurance of her parents and the family-like support of Hannah and Samuel around her. "I will," she said softly, trying to steady the tremor in her voice. When it was time, Jacob led Miriam down the aisle, his hand firm but gentle on her elbow. Aaron's eyes met hers, and in that moment, every bit of nervousness melted away. Hannah stood to the side, Eli quietly leaning against her leg, while Samuel nodded with quiet approval from his place near the front. The bishop spoke of faith, service, and patience, likening marriage to a field that must be tended daily, with prayer, humility, and love. "A good marriage is not built overnight," he said. "It is worked at with care, like the fields around us, season after season." Aaron and Miriam exchanged vows, their voices trembling with sincerity. "I will cherish thee," Aaron said, "and walk beside thee, so long as the Lord gives me strength." "And I thee," Miriam replied, "with prayer in my heart and gratitude in my hands." When the bishop pronounced them husband and wife, a hush of awe passed through the barn. Then, the congregation rose in song, voices blending in a hymn of joy and thanksgiving. The celebration afterward was lively, yet gentle. Tables were laden with bread, fresh pies, and roasted vegetables. Children darted between the benches, while adults shared quiet laughter and stories of weddings long ago. Jacob and Ruth beamed with pride as they watched Miriam and Aaron greet neighbors. Hannah handed a small basket of honey to Miriam, whispering, "For sweetness in your home," while Samuel helped Eli settle a teetering chair. The young family had become like extended family in a short time, and their presence made the celebration feel warm and full of blessing. Aaron leaned toward Miriam. It's a lot, isn't it? He whispered. It is, she said softly. But it feels right. Everything feels right. Later, as night fell and lanterns glowed softly in the barn, Aaron took Miriam's hand. Come with me, he said. I want you to see our home. The walk down the lane was quiet, the fields glowing gold in the fading light. Their small home waited, simple yet inviting. Inside, the scent of cedar and fresh bread filled the air. A quilt Hannah had made was draped across the back of a rocking chair, ready for their first night together. It's perfect, Miriam whispered, tears prickling her eyes. Aaron smiled. It's ours. Plain, steady, and full of promise. He set down the lantern and knelt beside her. Before anything else, let's pray. They bowed their heads, hands clasped together. Lord, Aaron prayed, thank you for guiding us to each other. May our home honor you in every season. Teach us patience, grant us kindness, and let love be our constant work. Miriam whispered, Amen. The weeks that followed were gentle and full of life. Willow Ridge bloomed with green and gold, the creek sang, and birds returned to the fields. Ruth and Jacob helped Miriam settle into her new home, while Hannah and Samuel visited often, offering advice, gifts of food, and laughter. Eli ran through the fields with any child who wandered by, his cheerful spirit a constant reminder of friendship and joy. One evening, as the sun set over the ridge and fireflies flickered along the fence line, Miriam stood in the doorway of their home, watching Aaron stack wood. Her heart swelled with gratitude for her parents, for Aaron, and for the friends who had become family. Aaron came to stand beside her, his arm resting lightly on her shoulders. Do you ever wonder how different everything might have been if not for that summer storm? Miriam smiled. No, she said softly. It brought us here, to each other, to love, and to all the blessings we didn't even know we were missing. Together, they watched the stars twinkle over the Arkansas fields, a promise of steadfast love and all the seasons yet to come.